Here, greetings everybody, my name is Saeed, I am an online English language teacher, and this is another episode from the series of video lessons devoted to the IELTS vocabulary, okay? The vocabulary for the IELTS speaking section. And this episode will be devoted to the topic which is called sports. In my opinion, this is probably the easiest lesson out of all of the lessons that I have planned within the framework of this series. And I think a lot of words and expressions that you will see here will probably not be very difficult. You might have come across them during your own practice, maybe, or maybe some reading resources like books, or articles, or even textbooks. But still, I believe that these expressions, they are the essence because they portray your ability to use, specific things, like specific lexis that will illustrate, your knowledge of the topic. So I think it's also quite useful just maybe to refresh in case if you know all of these expressions, okay? And I suspect you do. So here we go. Sports, lesson number 5. Well, we all have relationship with sports. Some people have a better relationship with sports. Some of them have not so tight bonds with this kind of thing, right? We might watch sports, on TV or on the internet. We play it or try our best to avoid it. Well, not long time ago, I was probably in the third group of those people who are trying to avoid it. But right now, I'm trying to get myself into the second group, the group of people that tries to play it or to go for it. Okay, so it's an important aspect of life, of our life, and I believe that this topic may also be quite frequent during the speaking part of the exam. So of course I suggest that we pay attention these amazing expressions. However, again, as I have mentioned before, I do believe that you probably know the majority of the phrases, all right? As always, you need to focus on the expressions that are highlighted in the orange-yellow color because they are just like the ones that, that belong to this selected group of expressions that will, give you a better score, okay? So those phrases, they have to be paid attention at more carefully. So without further ado, let's go to the speaking part 1. Okay, so part 1 style questions. Question number 1. Do you do any sports? The girl named Priyanka, I think it's an Indian name, is responding in the following way. Not really, no. I always say I'm going to take up exercise and try to get into shape, but I never seem to get started. I sometimes wonder whether I should get a personal trainer, someone who will sort out a fitness program for me and make me train hard. Okay, well that's quite good. Question number 2. How do you spend a typical weekend? A girl named Stella is responding. I'm a big football fan and weekends always center around, I love this phrase, center around, a football match. I support FC Utrecht and have a season ticket, so I go to most of the home games and quite a few of the away games too. I'm really looking forward to the new football season starting soon. Oh, what a football fan, huh? And question number 3. Have you got any hobbies or interests? The guy named Chang, I believe he's Chinese, he says, yeah, I'm really keen on sports. I do judo once a week and play tennis in the summer. I think it's really important to keep fit. It makes you feel good and energized for work and your studies. Alright guys, that was the speaking part 1. Now let's go to the speaking part 2 cue card, okay? As always, as I usually say in this moment of the video lesson, you can pause it, you can read this thing, you can make notes for 1 minute, and then you can try to act out your answer to the question, just like as if you are in the very real exam session. And when you're done, you can resume playing the video and see what the ideal Band 9 answer looks like, alright? And we're reading the cue card. Describe a place you like going to in your leisure time. You should say what this place is, when you go there, what you do there, and say why you enjoyed there so much. Alright, so 1 minute prep time. Like I said, pause the video, prepare, act out, and then resume and see what's going on in the real Band 9 answer. And the answer looks like this. Maurice says that he likes to go to the sports center. Let's read his answer. I'd like to talk about my local sports center. It's a place I spend a lot of time in. It's a new building with all the latest sports facilities. I probably go there at least twice a week, sometimes more often. It's a huge place. There is an outdoor athletic track and some football pitches. I play football, so I'm often out there. There are several indoor squash and tennis courts that I use occasionally. A big swimming pool, although I don't use that very often. I'm not a very strong swimmer. There's a gym, lots of things really. So why do I enjoy going there? It's just a really fun place to be. There's a good social side to it all, and you can enter competitions, meet up with other people who want to do the same sports. And because there are so many activities on offer, it gets you interested in different things. For example, I was listening to some people talking about training to run the marathon, and I've decided I might even think about that. I go jogging a couple of times a week, so it would give me something to aim for. So yeah, the sports center, that's the place I really like to visit. It was very, very good and well compacted answer. Okay, now my friends, we shall go on to the speaking part 3. Part 3 style questions. Question number 1. Should people be encouraged more to take up sport? Alejandro, our old pal from the previous lessons, is expressing his opinion. I think young people should be given the chance to discover which sport they might like. Watching sport is sometimes a good way to get people started, not on TV, but actually getting out. Take athletics, for example. They could go to an athletics meeting. There are so many different sports on show, one might interest them. Examiner is asking the question number 2. Why do some people enjoy participating in sport more than others? Florie, I believe it's a girl's name, yes, sounds like French, says that that's a good question. You know, guys, you can start answering a difficult question with something like this, like that's a good question, or that's an interesting question, or wow, it's a very intriguing question, or it's a tricky question, or wow, that's a tricky one. Maybe you can say, well, that's a hard one, you know? That's like a lot of things that help you win your time for the answer. You know, you're not technically having this awkward pause like staring somewhere in the wonderland, you know, like getting lost, having this Joey Tribbiani from Friends look. You know, so that's, you know, something you have to avoid when you're talking on the speaking, right? So these things will help you win some time. We're going to have another like totally separate lesson devoted to this, you know, time fillers that will help you stay in shape and, you know, make sure that the examiner doesn't think that you are like, you know, not so fluent in the English language. Okay, so let's go. That's a good question. I suppose some people are more concerned about their health. They can't stand the thought of being out of condition. Other people might be driven to excel. They want to set records or get personal bests. Okay. And final question. Which sports do you think are best for people who aren't used to physical activity? The girl named Julie says, well, I think people like this should avoid strenuous exercise. So things like circuit training are definitely out of the question. Maybe just doing a brisk walk every day or swimming is always a good way to get started. That was probably fantastic answers. You know, I really think that there might be something new even for like the most prepared folks out there who are watching my video. Okay, now my friends, we are going to go to vocabulary, and the definitions. An athletics meeting, well, that's an event where various athletic sports are held. So it's like, I wouldn't like call the Olympiad, like Olympic Games and athletic meetings, but maybe something of a more local size, you know what I'm saying? An athletics track, it's a running track, it's a place, like where people are running. It is like divided into sectors, An away game, it's a football match played in the opposing team's stadium. So like your team like is a guest in somebody else's stadium, okay? A brisk walk, that means a fast walk, okay? It's like a very fast walking. One of the types of the brisk walk that I know of is probably the so-called Norwegian style of walking. You kind of have like special sticks. You use them as the tools to, give you like more energy for, this type of walking, which is pretty cool. I saw some people, like some neighbors over here in my neighborhood, they were like walking like this. It's kind of looks funny from the outside, but it's pretty healthy. It's really good for health. So to do judo means to study and practice judo, and judo is a modern Japanese martial art. A football fan, well, that's a difficult one. It's someone who likes football. Okay. A fitness program. I'm sorry guys, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but these are the words that were advised by really great IELTS specialists who I talk to from time to time, that they have to be included in the lesson. So even if they sound like something for the first grade, schoolboy, do not be surprised. A fitness program, a schedule of activities to keep fit. A football match, it's a game of football. A football pitch, well, this is the surface on which you play football, like this, lawn, the grass, the field, right? As opposed to a stadium, which is the building, right? So the stadium, this is basically the physical construction, including the concrete seats and the other infrastructure and stuff, changing rooms and shower rooms and other facilities. But the pitch is like the very area where people play football. A football season is a period in the year when football is played, all right, to get into shape, to become fit. Now I'm going to go to the next slide here. To go jogging, that means to run around the streets. Well, I would say like not exactly around the streets, but maybe around the neighborhood. Jogging, it's something like a slow running, okay? It's not like, like extreme fast running. It's just a slow running, okay? A home game, it's a football match played in the team's own stadium. So it's like when your team is not going to somebody else's stadium, but is hosting a game on its own stadium. Okay, so that's pretty, simple. To keep fit, to stay in good physical condition, all right, like physically good shape. To be out of condition means to not be physically fit. Like, for example, John is out of condition. It means that he probably ate too much and, got bigger, got plumpier. Or if you have seen the movie The Avengers, the last part, when they were like... The final one, when they had this epic battle against, I'm not going to spoil if you haven't seen this movie, but you have to take a closer look at the god of storm, whose name is Thor. Well, what kind of man he became in that very last series of the franchise. So he was really out of his condition. You got to watch that if you haven't. A personal best, to achieve the best personal result so far in a sport, like to... maybe like set a record, or to run 100 meters with a certain time frame, something like something higher than you have already done. A personal trainer is a sports coach that helps you on a one-to-one basis. I remember I had a sports coach some time ago when I was younger, and this guy was very interesting. He was like asking me all the time after the sports session. He would approach me and say, "Hey, did you like the session today?" And when I was like, "Wow, it was great, thanks," I was like like uplifted. My spirit was high, and he was like always like groaning, like, "Oh, it means that you did not do any sports today." So he was persistent that a good session would make a person not feel that, cheered up and happy. So you have to feel miserable, tired, and crawl to the shower room. That was his, belief. So that was pretty funny guy. Okay, to play tennis or to play football, well, means like to, do this game, right? To practice this game. So to run the marathon means to run a distance of 42,195. I'm sorry, not kilometers. It has to be meters, right? Although no, 42 kilometers actually, yeah. 42 kilometers and 195 meters, right? I think I wrote it too much. Like if you run 442,000 kilometers, that's not going to be a marathon. You're probably going to circumlocute the Earth. Alright, let's just disregard that. Let's pretend that it didn't happen. So it's like 42,195 meters. God damn it, I don't want to re-record the lesson again. It's like the 21st attempt of recording. My voice got strained. Alright guys, let's carry on. A season ticket. It's a ticket that gives you entry to most of a team's home games during the sporting year. So it's something like a golden ticket that you use it like once. You buy the ticket once, you show it to the controller, whoever is controlling, like the people entering the stadium, and you are able to enter any of the home games or some of the away games too. So it's like a very VIP ticket that allows you to enter any home games. To set a record means to achieve the best result in sport. Okay, in a sport. A sports center is a public building where people can do various sports. Sports facilities, this is the equipment and services needed to do a sport, like the gym, for example, or anything that is attached to the gym, like the changing rooms, the shower rooms, and anything like this. A squash, tennis, or badminton court, this is the surface where you play these sports. Wow, that's an amazing expression. What else could that be? And now let's go to the final slide here. Strenuous exercise. Well, this is the exercise that needs a lot of physical effort. It's something that you have to spend a lot of energy on. For example, the exercise which I really hated when doing sports was called the burpee exercise. I really hated that thing. It's like a series of things that you have to do, like, not simultaneously, but one after the other, consecutively. That's a better word. And I believe the guy was training me, he was, of course, Russian. He said that the exercise name was burpee exercise. I believe it's the same in English. Maybe burpee is the name of the guy who invented this damn hellish exercise. Okay, so a strong swimmer, it's a good swimmer, obviously. A swimming pool, well, that's something mysterious, the place where you swim. Okay, we got it. To take up exercise means to start doing exercise. And finally, to train hard means to train with a lot of effort. Okay, guys, we're done. And I hope that the sports vocabulary was useful, even though I do have a suspicion that you probably know 95% of these expressions, but maybe if you did not know, some of them, that will be a good help for you to practice, okay? Thank you so much for staying with me on this video lesson. I really appreciate your time and effort, and especially I really appreciate, guys, your likes and subscription clicking. So please click subscribe and like the video if it was interesting for you. Don't put the dislike if it was not interesting for you. Just leave it like it is, okay? Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. And I will be very happy to see you in the next video episodes. We have so many things planned ahead, so hopefully you will like what's coming ahead. Thank you so much, and stay healthy and positive. And good luck with your IELTS preparation. Bye.